Greetings, I'm the Timeshare Traveler and welcome to my channel. My goal is to make timeshare travel better for everyone, to leverage everything I know, and I want to welcome you to my channel. I tend to try to educate as best I can, so what you're next going to see is an overview and kind of a presentation while I talk on the side. First, I'll start with the overview, and here's some background why this channel I think is valuable. I've got 15 plus years experience to leverage having owned timeshares. I want to talk about who can benefit from having timeshares, how I and my channel can help save you money and make timeshares better, and again also have better and more vacations using some of the tips and techniques and tricks that I use. And then lastly, I'll go through my story of owning timeshares, just sort of a historical context for you. Now let's talk about my 15 plus years experience that you can leverage for everyone, the benefit for all of you. So I've published more than 85 different timeshare places I've reviewed, and I go through and do videos for each of the places so you don't have to figure out what's in them. I've also published over 55 timeshare tips trying to provide information to make travel better for everyone, and I've learned from my mistakes so you can benefit, and I go through some of the mistakes I've made. Sometimes it's hard to go through that, but I've learned to do things better. I have experience with Hilton Grand Vacations, now the HGV Max, Marriott, and Vistana, and soon to be merged, and probably merged by the time you watch this. I've also got experience with Wyndham and WorldMark. So I've not only come with 15 years of experience, but it's pretty broad experience. And even if you don't have those timeshares or you're looking at those timeshares, you know, I can most likely give you advice over time. And again, my bottom line goal here is I want everyone to get the most out of the timeshares. Don't get discouraged. It's a lot to learn. So I kind of look at this as it's kind of like buying a car. If you buy a car and don't understand what you're getting into when you get it, it can be discouraging. Figuring out how to use some of the high-tech features as the newer cars now can take time. And here's the bottom line: the more you know, the better you are. The more you know, the more value you get. So hopefully, I'll be able to help you with that. So who can benefit from the information in this channel? Well, I'll just give you a sense of I've been through various stages in my life, and I've actually stayed in timeshares. I've been traveling on and off for the last 3 years, mostly traveling and staying in timeshares. So I've lived in a timeshare where working full time. I was a remote worker. They didn't care where I was, so I had a tendency to travel around the country, and I would go visit places I hadn't stayed, and I'd work during the week, and then I would enjoy the area I was in. I was retired I'm sort of semi-retired now. I was retired for a while I was figuring out what the next step was going to be. I had sort of retired from corporate America, and I was traveling around trying to enjoy being retired and enjoying the things like that. So if that's the kind of person, if you're a remote worker or you're retired, you can gain from this channel. I'm also a real estate investor, and I've actually when I was in between homes, I was having a house built, and so I traveled in my timeshares while I was having the house built. It was actually modified. It wasn't built from scratch. I'm currently actually doing that right now while I'm having a prefab home put up. So that I'm just traveling while that's being done. I stop in and check on how it's going, but I'm on the road. And I've traveled across the country driving, so I've experienced very similar to an RV lifestyle, only I'm staying in timeshares, but I've been able to go across the country doing that. And I've been in Hawaii for 5 months the last 2 years, and obviously it's one of my favorite places. In my opinion, who's not to like Hawaii? But I've done that over the last couple of years, and now I can show you how to do that on a frugal basis. So I have a lot of tips, and I try to save people money. I know I try to save money myself, so leveraging what I do hopefully will be of value to you. So I use credit cards to get points. I attend sales presentations to earn free hotel stays, and I even have the airline ones as well. So if I want to, I can travel pretty much, for the fees, for my maintenance fees, and for all the points that I have. So often I travel for free. I bought Hilton resale. I'm actually in the process of doing it second time, and I'm going to do upgrades. And Hilton has a way of allowing you to count that, and that really just lowers my overall costs to doing it well. I still get the full benefits of being a executive member within the Hilton family. I also use hotel points to book timeshares with all the credit cards and all the sales presentations. Vacasa is the Wyndham Rewards one, and you can book timeshares actually with that. Bonvoy, you actually can find the timeshares. I've stayed at several using my credit cards, have an annual bonus point, and you add that plus a few others, and you end up staying at timeshares. And I've used Hilton Honors to book Hilton HGV Max locations. I've even used Southwest Airlines to book timeshares, because they have a promotion that you get a bunch of airline miles, so you can actually earn a free companion pass booking timeshares on Southwest Airlines and end up with a free companion pass with that by using the extra points that they give you. The other thing I do is I'm constantly looking at, if it's short term, can I do something? I'll look at the last minute specials. RCI and Interval have them, and you can book a week in a 1-bedroom for under $400, sometimes even a 2-bedroom. So those are amazing values. So again, this save you money by, you don't necessarily need to buy more points. You might be able to just leverage some of the specials that are in play. And again, all the major timeshare companies that I have relationship with the exchanges. And who wouldn't want better and more vacations? So I try to do my best to provide you information to help. I can't do everything, but I would love to go on the vacations, but check out my reviews before you visit. So that I did that because that helped me know what was in a 1-bedroom at a certain location, what was in a 2-bedroom. Haven't stayed everywhere, but I'm working on it. So learn how to stretch your points so you can vacation more. There's so many things you can do to stretch your points. Just finding when the off seasons are. Make sure see if you can travel during the off season. A little harder when you have kids, because most of the off seasons are not geared toward having kids. But even then you can do it if you don't mind a little heat in Arizona. You can go in the off season and you can have wonderful vacations, see a lot, and then drive to local areas in the mountains around Phoenix, for example. Do trial packages before you buy. Just learn. And again, it's like doing a test drive on a car, or do marketing packages to vacation more. So even if you're an owner, many people are not aware that you can actually get marketing packages. And let me just say this. You're going to end up having, you don't have to, you can always turn them down. You're going to attend sales presentations. I took this view of just get used to it, and how can I leverage that? So I end up getting lots of free vacations because I go to the sales presentations. And I try to limit it, and I try to get education from them. So I try not to make it be, a high-pressured campaign, which they often can be, but I'm in it to try to learn. And so I sort of set the tone by doing that. And I have several videos on how to do that. Plan ahead. It's just like, last minute things. You're at the whim of the choices. So learn to plan ahead. That's how you get better and more vacations. Again, my view is turn sales presentations into more vacations. It's a cost. Taking your time. So make sure you get the value you want from the time you're giving up on your vacation to get more vacations. Stay in hotels with kitchens, so you don't always have to do a timeshare. Homewood Suites and Town Place Suites, Hilton Homewood Suites and Marriott Town Place Suites, they have kitchens in them. So I've stayed in locations that don't have a timeshare, but I still can actually enjoy many of the benefits of a timeshare by staying in those kind of locations. And let me wrap up with my story to owning timeshares. I initially bought just 2 weeks so I could go to all major Hawaiian islands. I fell in love with Hawaii. I live on the West Coast, so it's relatively easy. I had the Westin timeshare for Maui and Kauai, and I had Hilton for Oahu and the Big Island. And as I got closer, older, as you can see the gray hair, I was looking at, well, what can I do from, who's going to pay for my vacation? So I realized if I invested in timeshares or an RV, I could invest in the money while I was still working, and then, more deal with maintenance when I'm either semi-retired or retired. So I looked at RVs or expanding timeshares, and fundamentally ended up with timeshares because I don't have any pets. So there was no, I didn't have a space to bring Fido with me. I wanted to travel abroad, and you can't really, do that with an RV. And I also, obviously, I have to keep talking about Hawaii, like broken record, but really, I love it. So that wasn't an RV friendly choice. And the last thing is, and it just it's hard for me to know because right now I probably could maintain the RV. But having a breakdown is really expensive. Not that everything always breaks down. I don't want to make it be. I'm not negative on RVs. It just didn't fit me as well. And I just want to be, if something goes wrong, I want to pick up the phone, dial 0, and say, hey, come fix my stove. I've actually had issue with the stove, and they've in a unit before. Just like any house, you're going to have issues when you show up sometimes. So I invested in timeshares so I could travel like an RV. So now I'm actually driving across country, staying in timeshares. I've stayed in a couple hotels here and there, but mostly I'm staying in timeshares. So I'm basically cooking food and living like I'm living in a house, but we're living like I'm in an RV. But I get a lot better gas mileage. And again, those are some of the trade-offs. So that's my story. I hope you love this channel, and I hope you don't forget to subscribe. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy time sharing.